This is Eyewitness News at 6.
There is no doubt that this year has been tough on many of us emotionally, physically, and of course, financially.
While we can't control everything around us, one thing we can do is make sure our finances don't flatline, especially as we head into the holiday season of stress and spending. I sat down with a local financial advisor who has some options. The holidays, a time when our credit cards and bank accounts seem to get quite a workout. Add a pandemic into the mix with high unemployment for several months, and it can lead to a financial fitness fail.
The old saying, save for a rainy day. Well, unfortunately, we've had a rainy, 9 months and possibly, some more months going forward.
So how can we beef up our budgets and heal our financial health as we head into the holiday season and beyond? President of I&M Wealth Advisors, Louis Ingargiola, says bring it back to the basics. Budget.
Everyone should do this. You should sit down. There's a lot of good apps. There's a lot of good things online that will help you budget. It doesn't have to be hard. It could be as simple as a pad of paper.
Ingargiola says a lot of us know how much money is coming in, but not exactly what's going out. He suggests writing down how much it costs you to live for a month, from the bills you pay to the food you buy.
Most people will spend more time planning their 1-week vacation to the shore than they will looking at their finances a year. So if there's one thing I have to say is take inventory.
He says a good rule of thumb is to have at least 6 to 12 months of those expenses saved. That's easier said than done sometimes, but there are some small changes that you can make that can add up in a big way.
You have to be able to save. And how do you save? You save by living within your means.
Another way to pinch pennies is through micro-investing by using apps like Acorns that round up your purchase to the nearest dollar. Over time, that spare change adds up. Be conscious of the purchases you need versus want. Use cash instead of credit, and don't overspend during the holidays. The best gift is to set a goal for yourself to be debt-free by a certain date or year. Also, make sure you set aside some money to invest in yourself.
Our advice is always the same. You invest for your retirement, right? Because you never want to outlive your money. You want your money to outlive you.
A financial workout that's worth its weight in gold. Ingargiola also says whatever debt you incur, you should aim to pay it off within 12 to 24 months.
And every little bit helps. Those apps that you mentioned that round up to the nearest dollar, over time, it's money you would have spent anyway, right?
Right. You don't even realize that you're saving it.
Yeah. Good call. All right. When we come back, Chief Meteorologist Josh Strodell has a...
I want to talk about financial stability. These are very uncertain times. A lot of people have lost their jobs. Some aren't even spending money. Maybe they're squirreling it away. But how can we, through this pandemic, as we head into the holidays, check our financial health or maybe get it back on track after the past several months?
Well, the old saying, save for a rainy day. Well, unfortunately, we've had a rainy, 9 months and possibly, some more months going forward. So it's always the same. It's the basics. We don't change. Our advice to our clients doesn't change. Good times, bad times. You have to become a saver before you're an investor. Things of that nature, save money, live within your means, all the things that we know that are simple but hard to do.
How much would you suggest a person squirrel away for a savings or whatever?
The old rule of thumb is usually anywhere from 6 to 12 months of your expenses. So everyone should do this. You should sit down. There's a lot of good apps. There's a lot of good things online that will help you budget. It doesn't have to be hard. It could be as simple as a pad of paper to do it. So write everything down. Look at your checkbook. Look at your credit cards. See how much it costs you. What's it cost you to put the lights on? What's it cost you to get up every day? And then see what it costs for a month. Times that by 6 or 12. Therefore, if you have a situation like we've had where you've lost your job, now thank God there was unemployment and extended unemployment benefits for a lot of people that helped. But at least you have confidence that you could find that next job, possibly the right job, not just take any job, because you have the security of paying your bills.
I'm sure some people probably had to dip into their savings because maybe there was a leeway between the benefits maybe they received from unemployment or whatever their situation was if they lost a job. What do you suggest how people get back on track? Because this is a time of year when a lot of people tend to overspend with the holidays, and this has been one heck of a year, so I think a lot of families want to do something special.
Again, it doesn't change. You can still live within your means. Do not buy gifts and presents that you know you can't afford. One rule of thumb they say about paying off debt, if you can't pay off that debt within like 20 months or 24 months, you should sell whatever that is and buy something else that's cheaper, or pay off whatever you owe and then recalibrate. So how do you get yourself back on track? There's a lot of different rules of thumbs you can find online. But again, it's live within your means, live below your means, in the sense that it doesn't mean you have to live poor and you can't enjoy yourself, but what truly gives you pleasure when it comes to money and spending, because it's fleeting usually when you buy something. I do a lot of, we try to study the psychology of money and things, and there's a lot of good books out there. People will spend more money if they use a credit card. Almost double than if you have to pull the money out of your pocket. So we always tell people, don't use your credit card. So go holiday shopping, whatever dollars you've saved, that's what you spend.
That's good advice. Because a lot of people do whip out the plastic this time of year for, even if they get points, or maybe they're at a store and they say, oh, you could save an extra whatever percent by opening our credit card right now.
There's a reason they give you points. There's a reason they give you 10% off or 20% off, because they know you're going to spend double.
Per paycheck, would you say, I know you said between 6, 8, 10% you set aside, or something to that effect. Let's say someone makes $1,000 a paycheck. Would you suggest maybe they take $100, set that aside?
Oh, at least 10%. Yeah. So the 6 to 12 months of living expenses put aside in a safe bank account. I always say save until it hurts, but minimum 10%, and hopefully upwards of 15 to 20% of your pay to go right away, because you won't spend it, right? So if you have $10, you're just going to spend $10. If you have $9 or $8.50, you'll spend $9 or $8.50, and that $1.50 will be put away.
Okay. What advice would you give somebody who's really gotten into a hole because of the situation here?
Well, that's there's a lot of other people out there that handle those things, like consumer credit counseling and those type of things. If it's gotten that bad, then that's what you need to see if bankruptcy is an issue, to see if you can get some credit card relief, to see how you then can mend and work your way back to getting your credit back and restored.
Is there any other advice or things that you would love to share with viewers about financial health and getting that heartbeat back to where it needs to be?
Again, most people will spend more time planning their 1-week vacation to the shore than they will looking at their finances a year. So if there's one thing I have to say is take inventory, see where you're at, spend some time. Don't just spend 5 minutes, right? How long do you spend online looking for that perfect house at the shore? Do the same thing. Look what you have, and really look what you have. Don't just say, I think I have $50,000 in my savings account or my 401k. Really get the statements. Go online. There's a lot of great things you could summarize it all, and spend time. You don't have to obsess with it, but spend that time in the beginning, and then periodically look at it, see where you're at. Are you in the right direction? Am I paying down my debt? And have a goal. I want to be debt-free by whatever, age 50, age 60, before I retire.
When's a good time to see someone like yourself for financial advice?
We talk to anybody, and we'll try to help anybody. We might not be able to help you, but we're going to try. So again, you have to be a saver before you're an investor. So we deal with people's investments, but we've had plenty of people with lots of money come in here, but I couldn't help because they had debt that they couldn't get out from under. So they need to get help first on their debt side before their investment side. It's getting harder, it's harder, and it's what do people want. And the good thing about the economy coming back is people have short memories. And if there is, and hopefully the vaccine is, first quarter, second quarter, I can't even imagine the pent-up demand of people going and doing stuff.
Sure.
Right? Like, you're not gonna be able to get a reservation, you're not gonna be able to get that house at the shore because you're gonna be booked.
Right.
People are gonna go, they're gonna fly, they're gonna do things just because that's who we are as humans.
We've been waiting
right.
a long time.
Yeah, exactly. So they're gonna spend money, and we spend money too. Again, that's the economy. That's everything like you said. People overspend because we're conditioned and trained to spend money. It's so easy. I hit a button, boom, it shows up the next day.
Right. That's online shopping it's very easy to overlook how much you're spending when it's just click, click, click.
Exactly. So therefore, same thing. Even if it's another rule of thumb when it comes to saving money is take a, and most people don't know what a credit card register is, or a check register is. Take the register with you.
Yeah.
So write down, okay, I'm going to spend $500, so then subtract. Uh-oh, well, I'm out of money, so
Right.
I'm not spending anymore. Hospitality industry, conferences and events, you're hurting. But other businesses now, maybe, the drug field, the biotech field is doing well. Anything that stay at home, right? Technology is just booming right now. So what changes? And then if I had a crystal ball, I think the economy will come back because we're resilient as a people. Americans are resilient. They're always going to overcome. We'll overcome this coronavirus, and hopefully it'll make us better people, kinder people. But the economies will do well, and that's why we believe in investing, saving, investing, and you could then retire on your terms because you can, not because you have to.
As far as investments go, I know you got to think long term, not short term, right? But that's really hard to do right now when you're looking for something to comfort and you're scared. Same advice?
We try not to, our advice is always the same. You invest for your retirement, right? Because you never want to outlive your money. You want your money to outlive you. So we start with that, and then we work backwards when it comes to investing. But again, as we talked about, you have to be able to save. And how do you save? You save by living within your means. You save by doing, even if it's basic budgeting, using all the tools that are out there. Not overspending on Christmas and birthdays and vacations. If you can't afford to pay for you should never go and hock for your vacation. We talked about that. You should never go and hock for Christmas presents, right? It makes no sense because that bill will come in January.
Right.
And then people are like, oh boy.
If you can't pay it now, how are you going to pay it in January?
Exactly. And I think one thing that COVID has shown us is that we could, especially those first, during the lockdowns in March and April, it was, people were saving money. And they were, maybe getting along with their family a little bit more and having eating in and doing those things. Not that we don't want you to go out and support the local restaurants and stuff, but maybe instead of 5 days a week, you only do it 2 days a week or 3 days a week. So until you have that good basis of saving and investing.
Small adjustments can make a big difference.
They can over time, yes. So like anything else in the beginning, our business is consulting and investing, and the stock market went down in 34%, I think, in 33 days, the fastest decline ever. But again, and as long as you have your money that you need coming in, so your market's down, so what? Okay, it's down this month, and we've seen what we've seen since that happened. The market's come back to an all-time high again, because I said before, we're resilient. Our capitalism will always win out. Resiliency, the American spirit will win out, and the stock market will be fine. It'll go up and it'll go down, and the people that were willing to stay in it and keep investing, they're the ones who make money. The people that got out in March and April, well, they're never going and should never even invest because they don't have the mentality then to invest. You need to have a long-term mindset with money that's in the market. Otherwise, you're always going to be doing the wrong thing, selling when it goes down 34%, and then waiting for it to come all the way back up to a new high to get back in, and that's no way to ever make money in the markets.
Lose money that way.
You lose lots of money that way. Yes. So we've been fortunate. We haven't had anybody call or cry about the market going down that much that quick.
Well, I think, like you said, most people who do invest, they know to not panic.
Well, no, and they don't though. So that's the great part of working with a trusted advisor, because we believe we're worth more than we could ever charge, because when we look at the actual numbers, more money came out of the market in that March and April timeframe than, like, I think almost as much since the financial crisis of 07 and 08. So the money did go out of the market. But when you look at the people who working with advisors, very little money went out of the market because we're there to help them through it and say, okay, well, why? Is it going to go to zero? Well, I doubt it's going to go to zero. And we have those discussions, so therefore, after the discussion, they're, okay, I understand now why we're invested and why we shouldn't sell into a bear market like that.
Patience.
It's a virtue in most things in life.
Right.